Kia ora, rangatira. The last session today is about Rose Pere really, and her writing about Maori children being in touch with the elements of the earth. And here we're talking about Papa Tuanuku, we're talking about rangi in the sky, we're talking about tāne, we're talking about tangaroa, we're talking about all those elements that sometimes Maori children come to school with. And they have a relatively deep understanding of what that means because of what is talked about in the home. For example, they would know a lot of the names of the trees, they would know the fish in the water, they would know that wai is equivalent to life, they would know that the trees sometimes have personalities. For example, the kauri represents a rangatira, the tōtara represents a chief, the rata represents a person who takes from others and robs them of life. The piko represents the new growth, and a whole lot of things like that. And so the children come to school with probably a slightly different attitude about the natural environment. So in emergent writing I have tended to use some of the natural elements in the earth to introduce children to writing, particularly to poetry. And so today we're going to have an exercise where you're going to get some leaves, some rocks, some branches, some toi, some raupo, and I would like you to write poetry based on those elements. The important thing in emergent writing really is that children are taught to use key words, words that they are familiar with, words which are descriptive, words which explain, words which put place into things and give life to them. So without any further ado, we'll start. Now this is a lesson with emergent children, and I only took 3 elements, and the elements was a rock, rocks, tikoka, which is the leaf of the cabbage tree, and also I use some of the raupo heads. So here we go. And so the children got a rock, and they decided, they looked at it, they looked at their what they knew about rocks, and so they thought about it for a while. Then they came up to me as the teacher, and I helped them come up with these words. And here are the words here, look at this. This is really neat. It says hard, grey, Papa Tuanuku, the god of the earth. See, this is where this belongs. Another child with a sense of humour wrote this one, because he said it looks like something the elephant left behind at the zoo, but it said, elephants can't crush me. Isn't that funny? And this was this child's poem, Elephants Can't Crush Me. And that's his link to the elements. I'd like to share some tikoka leaves now. When they dry, they actually curl in and they hide a secret. And here's the secret, look, it's inside. And I'll read it to you. Sharp, touching the sky. Look at that, isn't that cute? Sharp, touching the sky. One more. This one's curled again, and this one was written by a child who was observing this for quite a while, and the child wrote, waving out excited. Look at that. And the last one is this long stem of a raupo that grew in the swamp. And where do you write the message? But you write it on the stem. And the message is, the wind blows until I bend. Look at that. The wind blows until I bend. So here we have emergent writers using the elements from the natural world and bringing that to school and using that as a basis to write. Rose Pere in her book Ako talks about this widely, about how Maori kids bring their cultural awareness and their environmental awareness to the gate of the school gate, and often teachers ask them to leave it there. And she says when she skips through the Urewera forest, she is surrounded by her gods, her knowledge, her people, and everything. and when she writes, all those things are combined. So the message is this: when you are working with poetry or some sort of poetic work, I think it's a good idea to come from the children's experience. Use words that they know, use things that they know and they can touch, they can talk about, and develop descriptive phrase from there. So have fun, and thank you very much for this session. And it is with no rea kuranga tira, e mihi tēnei ki a koutou I tēnei rai. Nā mihi runga te atua ki a koutou, whakapaihia mātou ia e tēnei wā me koutou, no reira tēnā koutou, ka huri.